Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Look, if you've been following the news lately, you know there is a whole lot going on. It can feel pretty overwhelming, right? But today, we're actually going to cut right through all that noise to connect the dots. We are mapping out exactly how today's current affairs are forming the literal building blocks of India's path to Viksit Bharat 2047. It's like a giant puzzle coming together to form a fully developed India. We've got a ton of ground to cover, so let's jump right in.
But real quick, before we get into the heavy details, I want to pose a question to you. What on earth connects a brand new solar plant in Uttar Pradesh to high-tech border control systems in New Delhi? On the surface, green energy and national security initiatives seem like night and day, right? Well, as you'll see today, they are actually deeply intertwined threads in the exact same fabric of national modernization.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, infrastructure and energy. Second, inclusive economic growth. Third, modernizing border management. And finally, we'll wrap up with some rapid-fire national updates.
Section 1. Infrastructure and Energy. Powering and connecting Uttar Pradesh. So, the first major development on our radar is Project Ganga. This is a dedicated initiative by the UP government to finally, and I mean finally, ensure last-mile digital connectivity out in rural areas. Imagine a student in a remote village finally getting the bandwidth they need for online classes, or a local clinic being able to access real-time telemedicine. That is the real-world goal here. By establishing a statewide network of digital service providers, or DSPs, they are systematically paving the way for e-governance and some absolutely vital tech-based opportunities.
And you guys, the sheer scale of this ambition is staggering. 2 million. That is 20 lakh families across the entire state that the government is planning to hook up to high-speed internet. Just think about the logistical effort behind that and the transformational power of bringing that many households online. For a lot of them, this will be the very first time they have this level of access.
But, this isn't just about streaming videos or doing basic web browsing. It has an immediate, massive economic ripple effect. 100,000. That's how many direct and indirect jobs this vast new digital network is expected to generate. It's a perfect example of how building digital infrastructure directly fuels massive employment generation.
All right, let's pivot from digital to physical infrastructure for a second. Over in Siddipur, the Ministry of Defense is doing something brilliant. They're taking roughly 850 acres of vacant defense land and they are turning it into the massive Siddipur solar project. It's just a remarkably smart way to take idle land and turn it into a powerhouse for renewable energy.
This plant is going to have a capacity of 250 megawatts. Now, that is a major leap forward. It drastically reduces our dependence on the traditional power grid, and crucially, it slashes electricity procurement costs for our defense establishments. It is a strategic win for national energy security and for sure a massive win for cost efficiency. But here's the real game changer. The most groundbreaking part of the Siddipur project is the integration of a battery energy storage system, or BES. Because, solar is great when the sun is shining, but a BES actually captures that energy so it can be used 24/7. Pairing this advanced storage setup with large-scale solar on defense land is literally a first for India. It ensures a stable, completely uninterrupted green power supply for our critical defense infrastructure. Moving right along to Section 2, Inclusive Economic Growth, Nutrition, Jobs, and Entrepreneurship. Setting the stage for our discussion on food security is SAPLING. That stands for South Asian Policy Leadership for Improved Nutrition and Growth. Just from the name alone, you can kind of tell this is a critical initiative. It's all about fostering vital regional cooperation to tackle some of the most fundamental human needs across all of South Asia.
The recent SAPLIN Dialogue 2026 over in Ahmedabad highlights a seriously powerful collaboration. Led by Union Minister Chirag Paswan, it brings together the Ministry of Food Processing Industries and the World Bank Group. Their laser focus here is on generating regional employment through sustainable food processing, ensuring long-term economic growth, and ultimately boosting food security across the board.
And this brilliantly illustrates how you balance economic inclusion. The National SCST Hub Scheme, which is run by the Ministry of MSME, approaches empowerment from two totally vital angles to truly support scheduled caste and scheduled tribe entrepreneurs. On one side, you have capacity building, so upgrading skills and technology. But on the other side, you have direct market access, meaning providing crucial financial assistance and actually opening doors to government public procurement.
As this quote perfectly encapsulates, the scheme is playing a significant role in advancing the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. Launched back in 2016, it really proves that true modernization and national development absolutely must be paved with the empowerment of marginalized entrepreneurial communities. We have to bring everyone along.
All right, Section 3, Modernizing Border Management, Securing Trade and Transit.
So, how do you manage the incredibly complex intersection of security and trade? Well, the Land Ports Authority of India just launched LPMS Vinimay. Unveiled by Union Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi, this land port management system is designed to completely overhaul and modernize how India's land borders operate on a daily basis.
The most crucial point here is how this system balances competing needs. First, it ensures the highly secure movement of people and goods. Obviously, that's paramount. But right alongside that, it's built to heavily boost cross-border trade and connectivity. By integrating all the different border stakeholders into one seamless operation, it proves that tight national security doesn't actually have to mean massive logistics delays or endless wait times for cargo. It's a win-win.
Okay, time to shift gears. Section 4, Rapid-Fire National Updates, the day's top headlines.
Let's hit the top headlines and other news today. On the global intelligence front, Jay Clayton has been nominated as the U.S. Director of National Intelligence. In international royal news, Thailand is mourning the sad passing of Princess Bajra Ketiaba Mahidol at the age of 47. Back home, a very significant tripartite pact was signed for oil and gas production right on the Assam-Nagaland border. Over in diplomacy, Rudra Gaurav Shrestha has been appointed as India's new ambassador to Turkey. And finally, a massive landmark domestic legal ruling. The Supreme Court has ruled that a homemaker's domestic care actually constitutes a separate, compensable loss.
And wow, that brings us full circle. From rural digital access out in UP, to food security dialogues in Gujarat, all the way to high-tech borders in New Delhi. I want to leave you with a question to ponder today. Which of these foundational pillars, infrastructure, inclusive growth, or secure borders, do you personally believe is the most critical building block for Viksit Bharat 2047? Keep that curiosity alive, guys. Thank you so much for joining today's explainer, and I'll see you next time.